Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, our weekly political update with the Arizona Capital Times. Also tonight we'll hear about a documentary on improving education for American Indians. And we'll visit a museum that focuses on interactive art for kids. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simon. State lawmakers are getting ready to wrap up the 2014 legislative session, and here with the latest on the flurry of last-minute bills is Luigi Del Puerto of the Arizona Capital Times. Good to see you, Luigi. Things kind of fast and furious down there?
Fast and furious. They are passing bills, debating bills, just moving bills between the two chambers.
What do we see so far? Like today, what do we see today?
Today, just before I got to here, they were going to third read 15 bills. I didn't even have the chance to look at what those bills are, but certainly the idea, or at least what some people are wanting to do, is get all of these done this week and next week, and potentially end the session by the end of next week.
You didn't have a chance to take a look at these, obviously, because you're on the move for this important engagement. But there are lawmakers that I get this impression they don't even know what's in half of this stuff.
What typically happens is that you are passing and debating and considering hundreds of bills, and in this last week, this week, and next week, they will be going through so many bills that I can't imagine any one of them actually just poring over and reading everything that they're passing or approving. Some of these bills are fairly substantive policy changes. Some of them are not, and so it's tough for me to imagine that they're reading everything.
How about any bills that we thought were dead but now are miraculously back to life?
We are not seeing a whole lot of bills that are getting resurrected at this point because they are at that phase when they're just moving through all these proposals. However, we have seen bills that have died in the last few days, and I imagine many of them, or some of them, would be revived. At least there will be efforts to try and revive them.
What about the election law changes that everyone made a big deal about? Okay, that we're not going to, we're going to repeal them so that they can't go on the ballot. We're not going to bring them back. Are they not going to bring them back?
Well, you see, that's a really good question. That's a good point you raised, because there is a bill that's currently in the state Senate that seeks to fix. Last year, they passed this law that created all sorts of headaches. For example, candidates now have to create two separate committees, one for the primary, one for the general. There's a limit as to how much they can transfer between the committees. And this proposal in the Senate would fix all of those. And just to be clear, all of them, Republicans and Democrats alike, need this fix. However, it's becoming caught in this partisan crossfire, if you will. The vote on the bill has so far been, on one side, Republicans are supporting it, on the other side, Democrats are opposing it. And the sponsor of the legislation said, well, if it gets out of the Senate without the emergency clause, which means it would take effect right away, without that provision, he said, well, I just don't know what would be added into this bill. And the fear by some is that, the last year's proposal, which was a target of a referendum, portions of it might make their way into this proposal.
And that is a possibility. What about the vouchers, expanded government scholarship accounts? That seemed like it had tough sledding early on. What's happening with that one?
Yeah, so today in the Senate, they gave preliminary approval to a proposal to expand it. Now, they're not expanding it as big as what they wanted it to be expanded to. Right now, the bill that's going to be third read in the Senate at some point expands it to a certain group of people. It would cover about 100,000, 115,000 new students.
All right, we'll see where that one goes. What is going on down there with folks making speeches about this Cliven Bundy situation in southern Nevada? We have lawmakers actually going up there and showing solidarity with these folks. What's going on?
Right. As you know, it's a fairly straightforward case of a rancher out in Nevada who didn't want to pay the fees for having his cattle graze on federal land. And it's now turned into some sort of a symbol of resistance or defiance against the federal government. There's a standoff between the Bureau of Land Management and some armed militias over there, and of course some of our lawmakers saw it as an opportunity to go and see what's going on. But also some of them came home and were just presumably amazed at what they saw and could not stop talking about it.
Who in particular could not stop talking about it?
We have a representative named David Livingston He lives in the northern part of the valley. And he just kept on talking and talking about it. Even yesterday when he was voting on bills, he would just segue. Actually, he didn't really explain his votes. He would just talk about his experience being out there on this ranch and basically saying, you know, this is an issue about power and how the feds are you know, asserting its power, and it basically how it's a states' rights issue.
And thus he's supporting the armed insurrection.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if he would be supporting an armed insurrection, but
well, they are armed, and they are saying the government has no power over them.
They are armed, and they are over there, and there is a standoff. That's true. I think he's very sympathetic. It's very clear he's very sympathetic to the armed militias. The funny thing is that not everybody's happy with the fact that he keeps on talking about this one. They do have their business at hand, and yesterday they tried to correct him and said, hey, you know, let's stay on the topic. But as you know, as a lawmaker, you can explain your vote. I think in the House they have 5 minutes to explain their vote, and you can talk about anything, your golf course, your new car, whatever, even if it had absolutely nothing to do with the bill before you.
And so he's deciding to use his 5 minutes, what, on each bill? He's on many bills?
He keeps talking about it, and they could not stop him from, because to him, he said this changed his life. That this is, you know, it opened his eyes, and just, you know, he had a new perspective, I suppose.
All right, we'll let him have that perspective. What about Tom Horne now? We had this administrative law judge coming through with the ruling, basically saying not enough evidence to go after Tom Horne. We'll see if they continue to go after Tom Horne. How's that playing down there at the legislature?
Well, the prevailing sentiment among those who run campaigns is that this is a big win for Tom Horne, in the sense that it improved his position or his situation from where he was a couple of days ago. A couple of days ago, he wasn't sure if the judge would say, well, you're guilty, and therefore he would be facing this even as they are going into the primary race. Well, now he can say and claim that he's been exonerated. In fact, today he sent out an email saying, with this headline, "I won't back down, will you?" So clearly, he can take what the judge had said and turn it into a campaign rhetoric, if you will. And in a sense, it's true. He would be right in saying that he's not been found guilty by this judge. However, I do want to add that this is not quite over yet. The county attorney who is pursuing this case or litigating this case still has to decide whether she would accept this recommendation, reject it. And if she rejected it, then presumably we would see Tom Horne back in court, and this time in trial court.
Yeah, actually in trial court. Yeah,
right.
And there's some thought that Sheila Polk there in Yavapai County may just say, you know what, the election's coming up. We'll let the citizens decide, and perhaps, you know, just get it off her plate. We'll see about that.
Right. One thing that's clear is that this is not going away as a campaign issue. I mentioned before the show, I'm presuming that the ads are being refined, the commercials are being refined as we speak.
All right, last question here. The thought was that with all this flurry of activity, with all this power rush going on, we could see sine die by the end of the week. We're almost at the end of the week. What do you think?
Well, definitely not this week. Perhaps next week. Andy Biggs told the reporter this morning that if he had, you know, if he were king, essentially, he would like to get out, you know, as soon as possible. But of course, he also said, even if I made the motion to sine die, probably would not get enough votes to pass. And the reason is pretty simple. Everybody wants their bill to pass. And if you sine die now, today, or the next day, then that's the end of your proposal. And some people wouldn't have that.
And they wouldn't have 5 minutes to talk about whatever the heck they want to talk about.
Yep, exactly.
Luigi, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Hungry Minds is a documentary that chronicles the transformation of American Indian high school students through a program that emphasizes creativity and leadership. The film airs tonight at 8:30 on 8 World, which is channel 8.3, and Cox Cable channel 88. Hungry Minds was produced by the Nick Lowry Foundation, and joining us now is Nick Lowry. And if the name rings a bell, you're a football fan because you used to kick for the Chiefs. I remember you kicking for the Chiefs.
For a long time.
Yeah. Now you're doing this. What? Give me a better definition of Hungry Minds.
Well, I think most of us remember the teacher, the professor that turned us on when we were sitting in that moribund learning environment known as a classroom. The one that excited us, made us want to pay attention, tapped into our better selves, and that's what Hungry Minds is about, is re-engaging kids where they are today to stimulate their best production.
And as far as these kids are concerned, who are they? How old are they? Where are they from?
Well, these are kids that are from all over. In this case, watching Hungry Minds is great because we know, working with Superintendent John Huppenthal, that the Native American kids are just as smart as any other kids in the country, but right now, test-taking wise, they're dead last in the country. And we want to show that whether it's Native Americans or Hispanic Americans, white Americans, black, Asian, wherever they come from, they can achieve greatness and most importantly, discover what is their particular high purpose in life to make a great impact on the world.
And the focus of the film seems to be nation building for Native youth. What is that?
Well, that was my fellowship at Harvard, and it has a very arrogant sound to it, but it's really about helping all of us build that community around us that allows us to prosper and allows the people around us to find that sense of purpose, that sense of higher purpose that drives us towards something that really matters.
So how do you find, never mind how you find, how do you get these kids to find that higher purpose and do it through, as you say, creativity and leadership?
Well, number one is the most important thing for all of us, like right now, your ability to focus on me, my ability to focus as a place kicker or in studying at Harvard, that's everything to being great. As an artist, as a philosopher, as a surgeon, as a fighter pilot, whatever we do, focus and helping kids realize that ability to marshal their minds on what matters. Number two is listening to their passions. So we do a DISC behavioral survey you may have heard of, which helps them become aware of their particular way that they learn, the way that they interact with others. So we try to combine the notion of creativity, which is unique to all of us, with how we all behave in groups. If we can help kids at the age of 14, 15, 16, usually high school kids is who we target, if they have that reference to how to lead and how to learn at an early age, then they don't stumble nearly as much when they have positions of authority to do truly great things.
It sounds very different than the test-taking culture we're seeing right now.
Absolutely. What I found is with kids today, most of them, if you ask them, as I have, how many of you feel like you have a sense of purpose or what you're learning today and how it will impact what you do with your life? Most of them raise their hands and say, I have no idea. And yet once we help them see that that's really what education should be, and the best educators is connecting what I'm learning right now and how it will make me a great human being in whatever are my particular unique gifts, that's when they become energized, and that's when they become uniquely independent in their learning, and that's when they contribute at a much higher level than in today's classroom.
Is this the kind of thing where you can start with that mindset, what you're telling me, you can start on day one and move forward, or do you have to move slowly because the kids come in with a whole different set of skills and expectations?
Well, what we find is in a 5-day leadership training that we do, and you can go to nicklowryfoundation.org to learn about it and be part of that. By the second day, they're already realizing things they haven't before. By the third day, we have them do a clan banner. Each of them is from a different tribe, just like each of us may be from a different ethnic background or cultural background. And yet what we found, we do this training at Dartmouth College every summer, they're more harmonious. They work better together than any homogenous group ever would. And so we try to combine self-awareness with constant creative exercises where as a group they develop a flag or banner that represents the sacred symbols of all their tribes, creates a story that is compelling, and then finally we ended on the 5th day with a mock tribal council where they actually legally advocate for something with research that will help literally become a new fundamental foundation for their community.
Are there differences between when you do things at Dartmouth or when you do things outside of a tribal culture and you then work with American Indian students? Are there cultural things you have to be aware of, things you have to work around? Talk about that dynamic.
Well, I think it's always about respect. We start with the fact that finally historians have acknowledged that the law of peace and the Iroquois Confederacy was admitted to by Ben Franklin himself to be a huge part of our original Constitution. He forgot about women voting, but we'll let him off the hook for that. And so there's a sense of pride that Native culture has had tremendous impact on America as it is today, and we start from that. So it's really about respect and encouraging dialogue. In the end, and you'll see on this program tonight, it's really about the kids speaking and manifesting their own change. It's much less about me. It's much more about them showing how much they've changed.
Talk to us about some of the results. What are you seeing out there?
Well, number one is, if you've heard of the developmental assets profile of the Search Institute, which is as respected as any, kids go from literally doubling how often they say positive responses from sometimes, let's say 50% of them will say, I always feel confident about my future, to 100%. Or 30% say, I always resolve conflicts without violence, to 75%. And that's in a matter of 5 days. We've worked with prison youth on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. And the uniqueness you asked me about is true. You have to adapt to each environment. These are kids that come from fetal alcohol backgrounds. But if we stayed with them as we did, you know what's amazing, Ted? Every single one of them was an A or A+ artist that they never knew until we stayed with them for a matter of 5 and 6 and 7 straight hours.
What kind of response are you getting? Obviously now you're getting good response from some of these kids. What about parents, tribes? What about educators? What are they saying about this?
Well, what they're saying is what they care most about, of course, is that kids feel energized to pull them through towards a more ambitious educational strategy. We also know that parents that are engaged make a big difference. The Gallup poll said that hope and engagement is much more important than test scores. We found at ASU, before Peters and Za went there, that 85% of ASU students who were Native dropped out. And yet when we gave them a group of 5 or 6 to begin their education journey, they stayed with it. We want kids to stay with their education, and the only way that happens is when it's actually something they see will be how they live their lives when they're 30 and 50 and 60.
How long has this, the NBNY, this program, how long has it been around?
It's been around for 14 years. I testified before Senator John McCain in 2005 about it, in 2003 before Ben Nighthorse Campbell, and we've had great results. And you know, it's really, to me, a symbol of education in general. Kids want to feel like their lives matter. And if your teacher made you feel that way, maybe that's one reason why you're sitting here today.
Well, and with that in mind, 14 years ago, are you hearing from kids who may have taken the program 14 years ago, 12 years ago, 10 years ago? They're not kids anymore. How are they doing? Well,
we might have a significantly higher, 30 or 40% higher rate of kids that are involved in public office. The other thing is we had a kid from the Gila River Reservation who was already Miss Gila River. And the legislators and the leaders from there said to us, what happened to her? She was already highly motivated. But she went from, I would like to, or what I call the intention to be a leader, to I'm a leader now, to I've already been a leader, it's in the past, and what's the next even bigger goal for my life that's not about my age if I'm 18, but actually performing and acting and advocating like she's 30, 35 years of age and has been in the legislature for 3 or 4 terms.
So if folks want to learn more about this particular program, Nation Building for Native Youth, obviously the film tonight is Hungry Minds. They can learn quite a bit of what goes on by way of the film. If they want to learn more about this, the American Indian aspect of it especially,
Absolutely.
Where do they go? What do they do?
NickLowry.org or NickLowryFoundation.org, and we won't put the phone number up there, but it's on there on the website, and there are lots of videos. Most importantly, it's about the kids. We let them speak for themselves.
And real quickly, before you go, the Nick Lowry Youth Foundation, what is that?
It's a foundation that is my way of giving back. We have Champions Against Bullying, which has been a huge subject lately. In fact, in the NFL with Richie Incognito this past year. And that also goes to this notion of difference and compassion. So once again, in environments where kids feel like they can make lots of mistakes, where they feel like somebody really understands them, and I might even use that word, loves them, they relax and they learn better, they take more risks, and they treat others with more respect.
So what's next now with the foundation? What's next on the plate?
We're going national. We actually are on a NASCAR car now. We're going to be with the NFL in bigger and better ways around the country. We've done about 67 schools now with Champions Against Bullying, but we also love this work with Native youth and with kids, just helping them feel like they can be leaders not 10 years from now. They want to be leaders now, and that's why AmeriCorps, which I worked on for President Clinton, that's why we were excited about that. That's what's missing in education today.
Well, Nick, good luck, good work. Thank you so much for joining us. And a reminder now, this is on tonight at 8:30 on 8 World. That is channel 8.3 and Cox channel 88. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Art Beat looks at an Arizona museum for youth in Mesa. Producer Shauna Fisher and photographer Scott Olson take us on a tour of the Idea Museum, a place where both children and adults can explore their creative side.
The experience at the Idea Museum begins before you even step inside. The museum opened its doors in 1978 in a refurbished grocery store. It was the first children's museum in the country to focus solely on art.
Our mission is to inspire children of all ages to experience art, creativity, and imagination.
Executive Director Sonny O'Rourke oversaw the museum's recent renovation and says it's all about sparking that creative fire in children.
Creativity is in all aspects of life. So while often we think of artists as being the creative ones in the world, we all have creative activities that we like to do and also have imagination, and so we offer that to our public.
There are 3 main exhibits spread across 20,000 square feet. Artville is for the younger crowd and encourages brain development. There are puppetry activities and painting. Inside the hub, there are 11 different stations, all of them interactive and designed around critical thinking and creativity. You can make your own glasses out of found objects or play a word game with friends. The big draw, though, is the robot exhibit.
The robot exhibit is an excellent example of what we offer in the gallery. We have wonderful art on the walls and sculptures. There are actually 46 different artworks created by 15 artists from across the country and 3 from right here in Arizona. There are also an area where kids can, and adults, we have adult costumes, you can don them and actually pretend you're in Mars or another planet on the green screen that we have.
O'Rourke says the museum prides itself on being a place where a parent and a child can interact. In fact, a recent study shows the Idea Museum has the highest rate of interaction of any children's museum in the country.
Interaction is so important because in today's fast-paced world, we run from one thing to another, drop the kids off at soccer, get takeout for dinner, maybe they're on their television or computer when they get home. It's really hard to have that quality time with your family.
The Idea Museum took that interaction to the next level by calling on its members to help with the renovation. Parents and kids put together the beaded light fixtures in the hub and this mural in the lobby. All of the museum's hard work has paid off. Beth Yanda came with her young cousins and says the makeover has made a huge difference.
You know, it's been really fun because we can touch things, we can write on the walls. We aren't just going and looking through glass. We're getting to actually enjoy touching things and becoming a part of the exhibit instead of just being separate from the exhibit.
O'Rourke says the connections made between a parent and child and the museum and its patrons is what excites her the most about coming to work every day.
I am absolutely thrilled when I see the museum through their eyes. When they share their stories, when I see a grandparent bringing their children, their grandchildren here, it just thrills me because for me, art has always been a very personal and important part of my life. And so it just brings me a great deal of joy because I love my job and I love the museum, and it's very unique. I've worked in many other museums across the country, but this museum is very special.
The name IDEA is actually an acronym that stands for Imagination, Design, Experience, and Art. The museum costs $7 for adults and children. You can find out more by checking their website, ideamuseum.org. museum.org. Thursday on Arizona Horizon, a new report ranks the Phoenix area high in terms of urban sprawl. And tax season may be over, but tax scams and fraud remain a concern. That's Thursday evening, 5:30 and 10 on the next Arizona Horizon. A reminder, if you want to check out our website, please, you're invited to go to azpbs.org/horizon. You can see what we've had in the past and what we plan on in the future. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening. Oh.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.